Good afternoon. I wanted to take you on the second weekly tour of our little Mittleider garden here and show you what is possible when you use the Mittleider weekly feed and pre-plant in your garden. Everything that is grown in here is in sand and sawdust, which has little to no nutritional value in it. But because we use the weekly feed and the pre-plant as part of the Mittleider system, as you can see, everything is growing very well. All right, this tour is going to be quicker than what we did last week. The carrots are doing well. We have cabbage here. We did have the caterpillar moth on 2 plants. Caught it pretty quickly, and we use BT on all chewing insects, especially caterpillars. They've got this one jacked up. It may come out, and within 24 hours the caterpillar moth was eradicated. We eat daily off of these cabbages. The leaves on them are secondary edibles, and you can see where we have taken leaves off, and we eat them every day. The broccoli has begun to bolt like some of the other things in the garden, but I'm going to leave broccoli in here because these leaves are very good. They are also a secondary edible, and instead of getting just one crop, one meal off of this plant, we are going to eat off of it for several months. Take a leaf or 2 off every week, and they're really good. I eat them in smoothies and sandwiches. There's another one that we have harvested the head on. The end of all the broccoli is, of course, the kale. I don't have quite enough kale for us, and we're going to put in some more here in the next day or two at another part here in the greenhouse. All right, behind me are the green beans, and we are getting lots of bloom on these guys. They are, that wire they're tied to is 7 foot 3 inches off of the top of the grow box, so they're over 7 feet tall. Some of them I have let the twine out. They're probably about 9 feet tall, and we should start having green beans in here very soon. One of my favorite crops in the garden are the tomatoes. And again, this is grown entirely in sand and sawdust. That sawdust is decomposing and is turning into good soil. We prune all of our tomatoes. We limit them to 1 main stem. They need prune again. See how the leaves from the 2 plants are overlapping one another? They need to be pruned. And I just pruned 3 days ago, and they're ready for another prune job. This tomato is 3.5 feet tall at that point. I don't know if I have anything for a good size reference in my pocket. Let me dig around in here. Oh, here we go. There's the lighter. Just to kind of show you what the stem looks like 3.5 feet off the ground. They're healthy. They're growing very well. We are setting lots of blooms, and lots of tomatoes. They are beginning to look abused, I guess, is what a lot of people would think when they see this. Any leaf matter that is below the tomatoes we remove, and this stimulates the plant to grow up, and to set new leaf growth on the plant. These plants will continue to grow and will be over 8 feet tall by the end of the season pretty easily. And here in another month, there won't be any leaf matter. Oh, probably 3 feet and down. It'll be just a bare stalk, like what you see here. Okay, peas. Back up so you can see them. These are sugar snap pea. Again, that wire is about 7 feet 3 inches off the top of the grow box. I have several of them that are over the wire now. Lots of blooms and lots of peas. We have been eating them right out of the garden. We have not had enough fully mature to take a mess of them in the house yet, but there's a lot of them in here. Okay, cucumbers and melons. Here's one of the early cucumbers. Got a pretty decent cucumber on him. And these guys need to be pruned and trained up the twine, and we'll be doing a video on that sometime here in the near future. They do need a little bit of love, and that's next on the list to do out here. We do have different varieties of cucumber and a few melons in here as well that we got a late start with. I had some spider mites in here, pruned them up. You can see I can get to the bed now to water and fertilize them, and they're growing as well. Over here, these plants hanging off on this side kind of shows you what it looks like when they get long. We lower the twine at the top. The vine will lay out into the aisle a little bit, and we can get more growth out of it at the top before it runs into the top of the greenhouse. We do this with all the vertical crop. The beans, the tomatoes, the melons, all of those things will be grown in a similar fashion. All right, now this last aisle, our beets have come out of the transplant shock from when we put them in here. We have pulled the lettuce and the spinach out of this row entirely. I had somebody make a recommendation for Swiss chard. Absolutely right, we didn't have any of that in the garden. We have directly sown some seeds in here, and you can see them coming up on the left side of that grow box there. Between that board and the stick up there, we have some celery that will hopefully be coming in here soon. In this little space here, we have edamame and a different type of a bush bean. They're purple in color. I forget what they are. I had a few cabbage plants that weren't doing very well. They are gone entirely. And I will probably start a few more in there in the space. And in here is where the spinach was at. It was bolted. It came out, and we're going to put, I think some okra, a few Brussels sprouts, and something else that I'm forgetting. All of those will be going in today after we shoot this video. The onions, all of these were started this year from seed. They were started at 3 different times, so we have some of different size. We didn't know how much room we were going to have left in here, so we didn't start very many. Pretty quick tour this week. Not a whole lot has changed. We do have more growth in a lot of the plants, but we're really not eating anything else. I have more of my leaf cutter bees that should be here tomorrow that will get released. And that's a little leaf cutter bee house there. They're great for pollinating little crops like the tomato. We don't get quite the amount of breeze in here to naturally pollinate them. Of course, we could always do that. But I enjoy the leaf cutter bees, and I have another batch of them that'll be here tomorrow. We had a few spaghetti squash that did not get pollinated, that I did not catch to hand pollinate, and they aborted. So hopefully with the leaf cutter bee in here, we will see fewer of that and more fruit that are actually setting. All right, folks, I'm going to shut it down here. Thanks for watching.